if you're currently listening to me, you at least know me. You kind of had a run-in with me. You've had conversations with me, or you may be a like mind. And that says a lot because there's a lot of things that I will share for those of you who are familiar or not. This would at least open your mind to a different perspective, a different approach to how we all view our lives in this human experience. And so I'm going to gather up different thoughts and ideas and approaches and how we live this life. And then we'll transition into perhaps other areas to where no telling where it goes. But the most important thing is for use of this channel, of this moment, to be able to reflect and provide feedback necessary to answer questions that sometimes I have and sometimes I do not have. However, I'm very cognitive. I'm one that always is in the know and to understand life itself. And if you flow with me on that level, I think you'll enjoy or at least appreciate what it is that I'm here to just share with you. So bear with me. It'll take some time for me to kind of fill in my space. This platform specifically, coming from YouTube, is a little different. I usually tend to do like videos and things like that, but I'll phase into that over time. At this point, I think the most important thing is to kind of provide you a surface or at least a understanding of, okay, what is this all about? What is this, what's the purpose? What's the objective? So the purpose is to have a conversation, and this is the learning of the minds. This is something that's really big of mine. And also, as such, if any of you out there are into the Myers-Briggs test, I am also an INFJ. And so if you catch on to that, then you pretty much have a significant amount of thoughts in how I approach things. But in saying that, I like to balance things out from a perspective from all angles. I am also on the cusp of Scorpio and Libra. Libra, Scorpio. But I am on the cusp on the 23rd of October, in case any of you Zodiac fans out there would like to know that portion, which is pretty interesting dynamic. However, let's get into it. So my approach today is just carry a conversation. We're in the moment, we're in the element, I am one who is very one with myself in relation to my alignment, my masculine energy, but still being aware of my feminine alignment and that energy. Also, before we go any further, I want my audience to understand something that I carry myself in regular life, and that's understanding my circle. There's a great author, doctor, thinker, and spiritualist by the name of Dr. Ray Hagins, and he touched on a great quote or a point. I don't know if it's from him. If it's not, then that's the source of which I got the quote, and I'd like to share with you today. And from this quote, it really resonates with the position that I hold in understanding myself and also understanding other people. So the quote is, "This space inside this circle represents my realm of knowledge. All that I think I know about whatever I think I know is depicted right here within this circle. I must keep in mind that there is more to know than what is within the circumference of my awareness." Now, this is a quote that not only I'm sharing with you, but also delivering, from a frequency level, I suppose. And it'll just help you fall in line with where I'm going and the directions that carry me there, And I also want to definitely give a great awareness and position of respect to my ancestors, which reside in me internally, and definitely guide me in the directions necessary for our culture and our people, specifically Black Americans, can get a better sense of self. We are starting to get to a point of resonance And it's a beautiful feeling because it's been a long time since we've actually experienced that. We've had our ebbs and flows or highs and lows throughout history, especially as a collective. And now that we are starting to become more aware of and asking questions, I think that's the most important piece to all of this. One thing I want to pick up on, though, is there's been a lot of conversation and things around a topic that was had on Twitter. And that topic was specifically about, the Black Americans and our perspective and position on immigration and how it's not benefiting us. And wow, it's amazing how so many people got really caught in their feelings because they were under the impression that we were somehow speaking in a discriminatory manner or whatever the case. I don't know exactly how they pulled that perspective from what we were trying to discuss. And the main argument was that we were specifically dealing about policies and things that are in place, which has put us in a position to be undermined. So yes, the assistance that we've provided over the history of being here held captive in this country and also being oppressed by a system that sometimes does not favor us in governing sense. There is an opportunity for us to understand where all of this is coming from and how it's transpiring and how it's affecting our communities. Some of the arguments that were had was in relation to we were being upset, or Black Americans specifically are upset because we are getting jobs and things of that nature taken away from us. But that's not the case. It was very frustrating because it's like we have said many times over that that's not what we are discussing. We're discussing the effects and how it's not benefiting us to be in support of immigration policies when those policies are used against us. This is as a collective, and I think at this point it should at least be recognized the impact that Black Americans have had in being here on this soil for over 400 years. Now, one of the things that has really caused a rift is the perspective or energy that our diasporan brothers and sisters, specifically in certain countries such as Nigeria or Ghana or some, I think, called in from South Africa. Now, they had a lot of perspectives on their understanding of our culture as in, what we understand about their culture. We understand that there's different tribalisms and there's other factions that occurred throughout history that got us here. However, there's a disconnect, and that disconnect is very, very relevant in how we see each other and how we view each other culturally. Now, I'm not sure exactly what made those who have come here as immigrants decide, or even those that look like us decide that, the society was free and clear of what you can do whatever and just allow yourself to fold into different cultures without the embrace or the position of, I suppose, respect in what our forefathers and our ancestors did for us to create an environment to where it's now perceived as the greatest nation in the world. It's the land of milk and honey. Our ancestors died for this land, an opportunity for many immigrants to come and rest and live a well-to-do life and be able to provide for our diasporan brothers and sisters who could not make it here. However, one thing you guys got misconstrued is this idea that there is a jealousy or some form of vitriol that we have towards our people there, and that's not the case. We actually don't even be thinking about y'all, to be frank with you. We are focused on what we've been focused on, and that's always been to be able to position ourselves where we are recognized for our doings and our hands in this country that we've also built beside the people that have oppressed us for 400 years. That is the most important dynamic that we are concerned about. We are not concerned about the amount of people that come here and are able to have jobs and live fruitful lives. Actually, that is the basis of who we are. We are ones who will forgive. We are the ones who will do and give you that helping hand and provide the necessary feedback for you to be successful in your life. But we don't like to get poked on too much, because at that point we definitely will bite back, because when you poke the lion too much, we got something to say about it. And that's our point. We got too many people infiltrating our culture and then turning around and spitting on us as if we owe them a favor. So yes, the jobs are abundant. There's not one job, and I don't know why they keep bringing it up, but there's not one job that we cannot acquire, that we do or do not have the skill set to be able to acquire. So I don't understand this notion of being jealous about specific jobs or skill sets that we all can acquire. This says a lot about the interpretation and focus of how we view our cultures and our learning ability of each other's cultures. I can say I am not very well-rounded in the African diaspora and understand the different tribalisms and certain subsets of cultures and ethnicities, and also the languages and this melting pot of greatness. I don't. Just like you guys only know bare minimum of exactly how the Black American experience got where it has gotten, and why we have positioned ourselves to take back our identity and let others know that, hey, you either fall in line and support what it is that we are, or you need to either get out the way and go find something else to do. But we would not tolerate anyone to stampede on our ancestors, and especially on the land that we built, and also the blood that has ran through these streets for many, many years. We are Americans. We are from this land. Rather, we were here originally thousands of years, as my brother Tyreek Nasheed has said many times over, and also many other scholars have mentioned many times over. And the ignorance of many of us is crazy, because a lot of us actually are not well-rounded in just looking up information, especially when it comes to our history. It is very, very important to dive into your history. One of the greatest sources of history is to go back and read some of the authors that actually documented a lot of our historical accounts. These authors are able to provide you the first-hand feedback of what was occurring around the times, to where you can understand the culture, the different societal effects and politics that were involved, and also the people that may have had a very, very atrocious and very, very dark life that they seem to could not get out of. There's other factors that are involved as well. However, that is very important, because one thing we have to realize is that we're just not a bunch of people that just came over here on a boat and settled in well, we didn't settle, but came over here on a boat and became slaves to a group of savages that just told us like that. No, that's not the case. There's a history about us that there's some that are in our diaspora that knows. They know the story. They know exactly what occurred with us. And actually, the history is even documented that here in the Americas alone, only maybe 10 or 13% of the Africans at the time, Black Africans at the time, were actually dispersed here into the Americas. The majority were actually dispersed in Brazil, and then also the surrounding islands of Jamaica and the Caribbeans, and also into Europe and in northern Spain and England and other areas of such. And so we spread out across the world. And we also came in Africa, and we settled into Africa. Now this is